Finally, I have come back to the party package. Yes, that is correct. This is the party package 2.0. That is right. And the O stands for Owen, but there's not two of me, so don't worry about it. But anyways, this is the first me video on the new party package channel, and I'm going to be covering AEW Dynamite from this week, which was an interesting one leading in. Now the lighting's better. So, of course, we know the fallout stuff from what happened, whatever the hell happened at AEW, All Out, that whole fiasco, which I want to make a video on, but I don't really know what I'd bring to the table, because I don't know what would I bring to it other than my own speculation that I can do in this video. So, it was a lot of tension was building up into this. There was barely nothing advertised before the show until, like, right before it. So, it was I was very looking much forward to seeing what was going to happen on the show, and it happened. So, it kicks off not with Tony Khan, but of course, the little, like the boom, hit the fuse, boom, so their thing, right, their opening intro. And it starts out in the opening package thingy, and the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, and Punk are all not included in the new opening promo intro thing. So, that is interesting. So that allows me to segue right into what I want to talk about. There is all of that. So, of course, the new report is that the Young Bucks and Kenny got Christopher Daniels and Mega, whatever their last name is, I forget. But Mega, I always know them as Mega. It's like Perka, Mega something like that. But the second, basically in command person in AEW, follows in after them, who's the legal person on top of things, and Christopher Daniels is the talent relations officer in AEW. So the guy that's supposed to deal with the talent and also the secondary person, all of the Dynamite wrestling, whatever, AEW, goes in with Kenny and the Young Bucks into Punk's locker room. They open the door, and apparently immediately Punk starts throwing fists. He's gonna get these hands. And he starts going at him. Ace Steel throws a chair at Nick Jackson. CM Punk is fighting Matt Jackson. And apparently Kenny runs over and saves his dog Larry from everything that's going on. And then Kenny goes over, and it seems like he's trying to resolve the situation. He goes over, starts trying to separate them, and Ace Steel comes up and bites him, trying to separate him. What the hell? So, apparently the most neutral person here, I mean, you have the two probably the most people that are going to try to be neutral in this situation. I know Christopher Daniels is one of the Young Bucks' best friends. But Mega is the second in-command person in all of AEW. And they go in there. The Young Bucks and Kenny are not going to get these two extra people to go into a room with CM Punk with them looking for a fight. They're going in there to resolve whatever's going on here. So they go into the room with those guys, and Punk starts fighting, right? So it's the only most believable thing. There's no way the Young Bucks can bring those two into that room with them just to start fighting, because that would completely throw them under the bus and they'd be screwed. No, the Young Bucks take them so they can resolve things peacefully with authorities behind them. And CM Punk doesn't care because he throws a finger to authority and goes in and goes after them anyways. Absolutely insane. Insane what's going on there. I personally think, I love CM Punk. I always have. Him and Brock Lesnar are the two people that brought me into liking wrestling. And when I started watching, Brock Lesnar wasn't around all the time, and CM Punk was not wrestling. So it pains me to... I don't know. I never thought the day would come to me saying this, but Punk has to be fired. The Elite, the Young Bucks, Kenny. Personally, I don't understand what people are saying against them. I don't really understand why people say they're toxic. And I saw one person say something like, because they were always like teasing Roman Reigns and FTR, and it's like, well, yeah, of course they're gonna do that. That's not being toxic. That's called being funny. It's funny. So, but anyways. They gotta get rid of Punk. Punk is clearly the problem. He's had problems with things everywhere he's gone. You gotta think to the point in the company that's meant for everybody, and he has problems with the guys that everybody likes. he's got to be the problem. It's the same thing with Eddie Kingston. If Eddie doesn't like Cesaro, and Eddie doesn't like Punk, and Eddie doesn't like this guy, maybe the problem's Eddie. But Eddie's kind of a different story. He's kind of just like a big personality, Big Ed type of guy. CM Punk, it has been said that he's kind of like a snake, and I believe it at this point. So Punk, I'm pretty sure. So Punk has to vacate the title, along with the news that apparently he had a tricep injury, which means he'll be out 6 to 9 months or something like that, which is incredibly long. If that's real or not, it has to be real. I would doubt they would fake an injury like that if they were just going to get rid of him, but I don't know. It's such a weird and bizarre situation that I don't really even know how to think about it. Other than I know that Punk is the problem. How do you resolve it? I would say if you're going to fire him, you should just fire him. If he's injured, I guess it's okay to keep him away from TV and you just keep everybody away from each other and bring back the Bucks and Kenny. Insane. But those guys are wiped out. And then we get to Tony Khan opening promo, what he's got to tell us. So the AEW World Championship and the Trios titles have been vacated from the winners at All Out. So they got to crown new champions, and for the World Championship, it will be a tournament that's going to end at the Grand Slam at Arthur Ashe in 2 weeks. I think it's 2 weeks. Yeah, in 2 weeks. Well, I guess 2 weeks after next, whatever. In a couple weeks, that'll be crowned after a tournament, and Jon Moxley gets a bye, so does Jericho. In the first week, we're going to have Danielson versus Hangman. That's going to happen tonight. Friday, it's going to have Sammy versus Darby. The winner of that will go on to John, and the winner of Hangman and Danielson will fight Jericho. Winner of those will go to the end. So, interesting, and the World Trios titles will be fought between the Best Friends and the Death Triangle. So that'll be the first opening match of the night. And he doesn't say anything about anybody involved. He said, I think his quote was something, he said something along the lines of, because of actions on All Out or something like that, due to something, this has to happen. So he didn't really reference anything. He just said what's happening. So then we cut back, and MJF is coming out. He's wearing a Buffalo Bills jersey, and he comes to the ring. He's celebrating with the crowd, and he gets in, and he starts talking. He's like, Josh Allen is the best quarterback in the world. And it's like the whole crowd's chanting for him because everyone loves MJF. Of course they do. And let's see here. He says, Buffalo, the devil is back. And he says, he goes on and he talks about how, I might have said some things, I might have offended some people, and then he goes on and he's like, but I didn't mean it, I love AEW, and he says stuff like that. I'm reading off of my phone, so I know what he says. He said, I'm never leaving this place. Buffalo, and then he starts telling a story about a guy whose name started with the letter M. Okay, yes. He said that right now it seems like dark times, but listen, it's just the beginning or something. And he said a guy a long time ago whose name started with the letter M opened the sea and led everyone to the gold or whatever, to the promised land or whatnot. And he said, Buffalo, I'm not telling you I'm Moses. That'd be ridiculous. But I'm better than Moses. And that was pretty funny. So he goes on about that, and he says that I'm not going to cash in. Now, he said that he's not in the tournament, but that's because he doesn't need to, because he has the chip that he can cash in whenever he wants, and he's not going to do the hard work of winning the title in the tournament. He's just going to go cash in whoever wins. So, so he says that, and then Jon Moxley comes out after MJF says he doesn't have a lot of time to talk, so be quiet. He says something to a lady in the crowd. He's like, shut up, that fat lady in the front row. But he's like, call me after show, whatever. MJF things. But then John interrupts him. He comes out to the ring. He gets in, and he's like, I'm not in the mood for this. I'm not in the mood. And he goes on about whatever. Then MJF comes back. He's like, John, you seem a bit woozy. And this seemed to be the only real CM Punk, what's the word? Reference on the night is that he said, "You seem a bit woozy. Maybe you need to go to sleep." And he goes like that, of course. I think that was the only real reference through the night. And then John, of course, he starts talking. He's going off, and he cuts an amazing promo. He starts going, and MJF, he dares MJF, like, "If you're going to fight me, let's fight now." And MJF starts taking off his jacket and stuff. He's getting ready, unbuttoning his shirt, and then he can't get his shirt off. And then he finally does, and then, of course, he runs out of the ring. And then John goes on to cut an amazing promo where he starts, yeah, and MJF also hinted again at, like, the bidding war of 2024 and also referenced Cody Rhodes. So that was kind of fun. But John then goes off, and he starts talking, and he starts cutting a huge promo. He starts saying that the AEW Championship is the only worldly possession I care about. He says that it's not because of the title itself. It's just metal and leather. He says it shows, it's a symbol. It's a sign of being better every day. It's a sign of being the best that you can run with. Being the best and whatever. And he says that basically he's like, I was supposed to be on vacation, but here I am. So it was a very good promo. If you should go listen to it for yourself. Anyways, moving on, we go to the first match of the night, which is the trios title between the Death Triangle and the Best Friends, symbolized by a skull and a triangle and a smiley face. So this was a great match. This is awesome. Just all around, my type of wrestling. I see people sometimes like, oh, it is so flippy and whatever. It's like, that's what this company was built upon. But anyways, just an amazing match. I mean, ton of really cool moments, especially towards the end when they all do 3 Canadian destroyers at the same time. That was really cool. Danhausen cursed Alex Abrahantes. That was really funny. So, just overall fun match, and of course the Death Triangle win, because of course they do. They were clearly the best one in this match, and I don't know what other trios of people other than the House of Black, but I don't know what's going on with them. So, good move by them. I love all of those guys together, and great match, and good win for the Death Triangle. Next, we get Toni Storm versus Penelope for the first match for the interim world champion. Storm, after winning it all out, and I think this was a fine match if it wasn't for the championship, because it didn't really do anything for anybody. It was cool to see Penelope back after a really long time, and also seeing Kip come out with her. It was nice. It was kind of like I missed them. I like both of them, and so it's nice to see them. Okay, I think the biggest deal with me is that this match didn't need to be for the championship. Like, this should have just been, if Toni wasn't the champion, this would have been a fine match. The problem is that it is a championship match, and it's Toni's first one, and she didn't really do anything amazing or anything special. She just kind of won. So, I guess it was cool. We got to see everyone in this, but who cares, So, it was fine. Nothing special, nothing boring, just kind of whatever. It's just like a filler match, even though it's the Women's Championship, it should be a filler. They should have had her just go out there and talk. And then maybe someone come in, and maybe Penelope interrupts her, which then leads to a match or something on Friday. Something like that. Just something a little bit more important than what just happened. So, whatever. So then it cuts to Jericho off camera. He's backstage with Tony Schiavone. He's with Anna Jas and Sammy Guevara and Ty. And they're talking, and Jericho was on it this segment. He said something about he's the leader. He's go on because he found the Fountain of Youth. That's what he did. He found the Fountain of Youth. Pablo San Lucas or whatever went looking for the Fountain of Youth, but I found it because he's all young again, using his first gimmick. And he's back, and he's like, great. And then it was awesome. He said that he found the Fountain of Youth, and he drank it in, man. So that was really cool to hear him say that again. And then it cuts to Sammy. Well, not cuts to Sammy. They go over to Sammy. He asks him some sort of question, and Sammy goes like, like, he's like, dang, Chris, look at us, and he's like, look at these abs or whatever. So it was just a fun little segment, nothing special, just whatever. It was really funny. It was really funny. And then right before they cut off camera, because the Sammy's fighting Darby, Jericho, he screams, and we don't like turtles, because Darby looks like the kid from the really old joke of the I like turtles. So that was really funny. That was really funny. I laughed a lot at that one. So then we move on to Tony Storm, and then, yes, the TNT Championship, which, oh, no we don't. We have the Acclaimed come out. I'm looking at my phone because I'm working on this as we go along. It's not like many people are going to watch this one anyways. Anyways, we have the Acclaim. They arrive, and everyone's excited. He's like, yo, and then, their first time coming out since their huge turn up at All Out. And he's, yo, listen. And everyone's like, can't wait because everyone's so excited. What's his name? Billy Gunn, Daddy Ass is out there. Amazing. I want one of those shirts. I need to get one of those shirts. They're out there, and it's just everyone's going crazy. They're like, yes! And right before he's about to start, you hear, whose house? And then Swerve comes out, of course, and then he starts saying whatever. He's like, I'm done listening to your stupid rap jokes. And then he says, you know what is a joke? The Acclaimed is tag champions. It's like so funny. It's like, oh, no. What's funny is that you think you're better than them if you listen to the press conference thing from there, which was interesting. And no, I wasn't looking at Earwax. I don't know what that was. Anyway, sorry. So that was a little fun thing. I was kind of annoyed because I wanted to hear what the Acclaimed had to say, of course. But then Billy grabs the mic, and I saw a really funny joke. It said, who knew that in 15 years later or something like that Billy Gunn would make a second thing, second catchphrase that would get kids expelled from school. So I thought that was really funny. But the Acclaimed are on fire. They're totally going to win at Arthur Ashe, and I can't wait to see it. Because this is what I got to tell you. For wrestling, you got to put on your characters. The characters are what people care about. If you can get characters and stories that bring people in, and then you already know the wrestlers are great, but there needs to be a story, which is why I'll tell you about Danielson in a second, is that I feel like there's no story between a lot. Daniel Bryan, I like Daniel Bryan. I hate saying Danielson. Daniel Bryan, I love him, right? But he doesn't really ever have stories going to his matches. So, like, I don't really care about what he does. You know what I mean? Like, his whole thing with Jericho, it was just like, I don't care. Like, Jericho's like the king of making stories usually, but Daniel Bryan has like no character and he doesn't have a story. So, yeah. So, oh yeah, so that's why the Acclaimed are awesome, is that they have character and they have a story. They're personalities that you want to root for. That's why MJF is great. And I know I'm telling you stuff you know, but that's why some of these things are kind of boring. Tony Storm versus Penelope, there was no point to it. And even though it happened, there was no point to the match. So, anyways, moving on. TNT title, of course, you know what to expect. Wardlow comes out. Everyone, Wardlow. He goes out to the ring. He comes from the stage. He goes down, and then Tony Nese, he's like, you gotta tone up there. And then he just clobbers him, and then, power bombs. Pins him 1, 2, 3. He retains, and then he brings in Smart Mark Sterling, and then he does a power bomb. Well, I think he did a power bomb to him, pretty sure. And that was fun. So I really liked seeing that. That was fun to watch. And then I know okay, so I was looking through things. I forgot to write notes during the show, and I was trying to find. I know Stokely talked somewhere in here, and I think it was before one of these next two matches, and I don't know when, because everything I was reading wouldn't tell me when it happened. So at some point Stokely Hathaway comes out and doesn't really say anything, but they beat up some poor cameraman who's really a wrestler in training. So that happened. I hate him. But anyways, Hangman versus Daniel Bryan, which this was a fun match. I was like, man, we're getting like a main event match twice, and like we're getting like 2 main event matches. We're getting a ton of then we're getting pay-per-view level matches for the next 2 weeks. That's incredible. That's really cool. So I was like, okay, awesome. So Hangman comes out, Daniel comes out, and I was debating the whole time who was going to win because I wasn't sure. I was trying to figure it out. I was like, I don't know. Personally, for me, I'd have Hangman win because he was just the champion and he just lost. Like, I don't need to bury him anymore. And then you would get a rematch between Jericho and him it's like, this time it's not for the title, it's for a shot at the title. So I thought that would be an interesting thing, and then you could probably easily have Jericho beat him because he could cheat and it would be okay. But that's not what happened. So this was a really fun match all around. I was going back and forth, but the finish saw Hangman was finally in position. He goes for the buckshot. He misses it. Yada, yada, yada. Moves along. And then finally, actually, I kind of forget. How did he lose now that I think about it? What the hell happened? Where, Page? Oh yeah, that's right. He went for the whatever. He goes for the buckshot. He bounces off the rope, and then Daniel rolls him up, and then does the thing where you go on your back like Sister Abigail, and then he rolled him up and won, which was kind of disappointing. But at the same time, it worked. It worked, but was kind of disappointing, but it worked, and I was mad because I don't really care about Daniel. I like Daniel. I always have, but he just does nothing for me right now. He's doing nothing for me in AEW, I'll be honest. So I was kind of disappointed, but whatever. So then we move on to Garcia versus Yuta, a match that I was like, well, who cares? So I went to go make some raspberry tea, and out of nowhere, this rapper guy comes out. I don't remember what his name was. It was like West Side something. And he comes out, and I was like, do people really listen to this? This is awful. I had no idea. Like, he said banana at some point, and everyone in the crowd said it, and I was like, what the hell is happening? So that was weird. But he's from Buffalo, so whatever. And then Daniel Garcia, the Buffalo boy, comes out, and yeah, I don't. So he goes to the ring, and then Wheeler Yuta goes to the ring. They had someone on commentary who I'm not sure who that was. Was he the Bills commentator? I wasn't entirely sure. They have a match. It went on for, I think they gave him like a good 20 minutes, so it was actually all right, especially towards the end. I was into it. I was kind of surprised. I'm usually not like that the biggest fan of Daniel Garcia. Usually I'm like, who cares? And Yuta on the cruise was really fun. And he's done a lot of cool things, but overall, I'm just kind of like, once again, it's the same thing. It's like he has no character or any story, so I'm just like, who cares? Like, he's cool, I guess. He was cool to see on the boat, and he was cool. I mean, he's cool overall, but I just don't care. You know what I mean? It's kind of like Dante Martin, where it's just like, yeah, he does cool things, but I don't care. Like, he's not. To me, he's just kind of a robot. He doesn't do anything. So the match was cool, good overall. I liked the story. Towards the end, Daniel Garcia was trying to prove that I don't know if he was trying to prove. I don't think that's the right word, but he didn't want to cheat to win. And Yuta, the babyface, he was kind of just the good guy of the match, is the one that kind of cheated by using closed fist punches, which I see a lot of people do, but it's never a problem other than now. But, so they start saying, like, no, you can't do that, and then he finally locks him up, and, Garcia wins. So, it was a fun match. Towards the end, that was a really fun match as it heated up, and the crowd was going wild. We have a new pure Ring of Honor champion. I like it. I liked what happened. I enjoyed it, and I was actually kind of surprised. Didn't enjoy the rapper because that was, I didn't understand what the hell that was all about. That was ridiculous. So I don't even know. So, but anyways, that was really it. I think the star, who was the star of the show? The star for me has to be Moxley or MJF. They started out the show very strong. I would say the show the show never slowed down. It was a very enjoyable show. It felt like old Dynamite. For me, Dynamite lately in the last few months, I would say it's kind of not felt like a drag. I don't want to say drag, but it felt kind of like it kind of felt there were some segments I didn't really like, and remember I missed the days where Dynamite seemed like it would go by really fast, which it still does. But I feel like something happened along the way where it was like, oh, this is kind of going on forever. But this is a nice show. It was nice. It went through fast. It was good. So I like the show. I would say the star was that. And I'm interested to see where this goes. For me, I think if I was to call the tournament, I would say probably. So I think Daniel Bryan will probably beat Jericho because that's probably what they're. I just think that's what they're gonna do ever since he lost at All Out, which I would make it the other way around, but whatever. But so I see Danielson going. It'll be John versus Danielson at the end, which will be a fun match to see. So that'll be interesting to watch. But I guess that's really all I have to say for now. So if you like this video, please pick up your free subscription by hitting that red subscribe button. If you liked it, leave a like, not a dislike. Go down below and tell me what was your favorite part of the show. Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? Who do you think is going to win the championship? Who do you think is going to win the tourney? Do you think they'll have any surprise wins? I hope so. So tell me all that down below. Until next time, I've been your dapperly dressed host, Owen. Too sweet. And ta-ta for now. By the way, I hope you're having an amazing day.